Okay. Hello, my friends from around the world. Santos, Rolon Jr. here, aka Soldier of Self Mastery, on another Friday Night Alive Power Hour. On this broadcast, we're not going to be doing a whole lot of talking. At least I'm going to try to not do a whole lot of talking. But I want to take your questions. If you're available, if you're on the air, wherever you are, I want to take your questions, and hopefully we can interact a little bit and empower ourselves as we need to go forward away from this COVID-19 experience. If you have a question, you got a question about gambling, some type of addiction, maybe you have a question about life or COVID-19. I'm going to hang out with you over the next 30 minutes. It is 4:14, so for the next 30 minutes, we're going to hang out here. I'm going to take questions. I'm going to do my best to not teach, to not share. Of course, I always do that in between questions and so forth. So I'm glad to be here. I'm a little bit late, but I did make a promise to myself to do this on Fridays, just to how can I say, partake of something that we can take advantage of, and that is a little bit of time on a Friday to empower ourselves. So once again, thank you for being here with us. Nahil, welcome. Welcome to the episode. I'm actually trying out my new camera. Hopefully it'll work a little bit better, and my microphone, my new microphone that comes with this different type of a camera. So I'm actually exploring today. Josephine, welcome. Nahil, welcome. Again, I'm just going to be here. If you have a question, if you have a thought, I really don't have a topic for this except for the fact that we're here to talk about COVID-19, maybe, or addiction, or gambling. And I'm going to do my very best to empower me, to empower you. So if you have a question, come on, bring it up. I need to be challenged today. I woke up late today. I got my little bit of my exercise done. I'm going to have to go finish 15 minutes. I cut myself off short today looking for a drone, trying to buy a drone, right? So that I can do some projects with it. So what in the world are you guys up to today? William, welcome. And Laura, welcome. I'm just hanging out. I'm going to wait. If you have a question, you got an observation, or maybe you want to jump on the camera. If you want to jump on the camera with me, if you're not afraid to do that, you're welcome. This is going to be kind of a free-for-all tonight, and I'm just going to spend a few minutes with you. So we're hanging out. Jesse, what's up? Can you guys hear me loud and clear? I'm testing out a new camera here to see if it, I could definitely see it. I could definitely see this camera is a little bit more HD than the other one that I had. You'll be able to see all my wrinkles now. Anyways, I'm glad to be here. It's Friday. I'm challenged just like most people. And, we're all looking for something. Would you agree with me that we're all looking for something? Now, do you know what it is that you're looking for? Maybe you know what it is. I don't know. Anyways, Nahil says, I woke up late, but still got an hour workout in. Right on. Doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it feel good, Nahil, to, when you're doing the workout, you feel the pressure, but you also feel the dopamine being released, right? While you're doing your workout, whatever it may be. And you're also, after you're done with your exercise, man, it just feels so good. And of course, before you start the exercise, right, there's that pressure, right? You've got that, whatever it may be, that little voice of darkness on one side, kind of whispering sweet nothings in your ear. Don't stay, you don't have to work out, man. You're comfortable. Just stay where you're at. Maybe you're watching a movie or something, or whatever. So you jump into the thing, and then afterwards you feel real great. And that is I don't know, what do we call that? It's a gift. It's a gift that we all have to be able to do things. Anyways, I don't want to do too much talking, but I want to see if I can get some questions. Okay, we got something here. Josephine. Let me see. Um, yeah, it does. Let me get back here to Josephine. She's got a good question here. Let me see. What can we do to relieve stress? What can you do to relieve stress? Well, you can meet me on a Friday night right here, Friday Night Alive for a few minutes and get powered up, get something going in your life. On a more serious note, some stress is good. Too much stress is not good. We got to have some pressure in our lives, but too much of it is not good. So what do you think? I'm going to ask you, Josephine, when you feel stress, what is best to do? I want you to share that with me. Okay, because there's a lot we can talk about. This is a good subject. What do you do when you feel stressed? So I'm going to wait on your answer, Josephine, or anybody else that has an answer. Thank you, William. Appreciate that. And definitely. Josephine, I'm gonna hold you accountable here, all right? So I want you to share with me what you do, or what could you do to feel. We're never going to get away from stress completely, obviously. What would it be like to live in a world with no stress? Think about that for a moment. What would it be like to live in a world with no stress? Well, there is such a place. I believe that there is such a place, but it's not on planet Earth. It's in the afterlife. I go a hot bath with candle. There you go. There's an idea. Mark says, Prairie, what read the Bible? Definitely meditating. In fact, this morning I was meditating on scripture. In fact, I meditate on scripture every single morning, at least for a few minutes, and then I post my meditation on Facebook, which is something really good. So reading the scriptures, meditating on the Proverbs, finding something to focus on. Definitely. Let me see. Okay. I'm going to see if anybody else. There's a few people that are joining us tonight here. Anybody got ideas about drones? I'm working on purchasing a drone, not a real expensive one. I think that would be really cool to be able to make videos and spy on my city. I don't want to spy on the city, but obviously if you have a drone, you can do some pretty cool things. Hey, Dom. Welcome, Dom House. Welcome. If you have a question, if you have an observation, you have something that you want to share, again, this video will be recorded. Obviously, it'll go on my YouTube channel. And we want to help people, right? I've been really thinking about that, helping people. What can we do? What can I do to better serve people? We can always improve upon what we have already. We don't need to be looking at something else or looking for something else. We can always just continually improve upon what we have. I was talking to my wife yesterday that just when you think you have it, you've been improving on your gift, there's always another level. There's always more that you can tap into. Because honestly, we are wonderful creatures. We're just wonderful creatures. The way that we're made, even though we live in a sinful world, we live in this world that has a lot of challenges. We as human beings, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. God equipped you with everything that you need to be able to do what you need to do. God has equipped you. Do I understand that completely? No, I don't. Let me see. Hey, Suzanne. Welcome. Getting a few people. We're getting a few people here on a Friday. Again, my agenda here before I came on, if you caught me at the beginning, it's really just to talk about life, maybe talk a little bit about this COVID-19. And if we want to talk a little bit about gambling or maybe how to stop gambling. If you're gambling online, or who knows, you might be gambling somewhere, or somebody might be. I know I got a call the other day from somebody that was physically gambling. So that's a no-no. That is a no-no. All right. From moment to moment. Let me see. Australia. Beautiful picture there, Suzanne. All right. Where can we get unbiased information, news, and guidance from with all this fake news? That's a great question. Where can we go? Where can we go to get an unbiased review of what's really going on? You can, obviously you can do some research and you can get out there. There are some news sources that are available. I think one of the main things that's going to help us, and it's a great question to find something like this, is having a very strong stability in your own mind, having a very strong stability in your own person, because ultimately you have to be able to decipher through all this stuff that's going on. I'm not paying too much attention to the news these days. I am observing some of it, but I'm not really paying too much attention to it. I'm focused more on what I think, right? And that's probably what you need to do too. You focus on, where do you stand in the middle of this? How do you see this situation? What do you believe? If you're feeding on a lot of negative news, if you're feeding on a lot of this propaganda that's being fed to us, then your mind is going to be, it's going to be, it's going to be have an imbalance, right? It's kind of like, I have two sets of eyeglasses. These ones are the best ones. I have another pair that are very dark. I can't work. I mean, I can live, I can work, and I can do things with those glasses on, but I see differently. You have to have a really good pair of glasses on, figuratively speaking. So what I'm saying is, in order for us to really, really become decisive and become, not decisive, but become more aware, is we have to be in tune of how we're thinking and how we are going to see things. See, it's not about those things imposing upon us, but we must impose upon those things, if it makes sense. If it makes sense. Thank you for that. Joe, I believe. So Joe or Dan? Correct me if I need to be corrected. Let me see here. Never listen to news. Well, I heard somebody say that if it gets really bad, if you don't listen to the news, if it gets really bad, somebody's going to call you up and tell you. Somewhere along the line, you're going to find out what's really happening. So it's really up to you how you're going to look at things. And this is something that I'm going to really emphasize, is you have to know you. You have to know what it is that you believe in and what you stand for. And if you have that ground, then when things hit you that might seem confusing, you know what to stay away from. Because when something begins to rock your foundation, you know that something's not right. Something's not right. You want to have that firm foundation. You want to continually keep that firm foundation, because that's what's going to keep you neutral apart from these. Like I said in one of my other broadcasts, you have news A and B. You've got the Democrats, you've got the politicians. There's a lot of money in that area, right? And then on the other side, you've got these conspiracy theorists that they're very sharp people, and they know some things. What side, where do you go? a little bit of the news, maybe just a little tiny bit of the news to just keep you informed. And maybe every once in a while you might listen to one of these conspiracy theories, because they do have some pretty good knowledge. But you got to be careful, because it seems like to me like these conspiracy theorists, they almost seem bitter. They're almost like they're bitter, right? Some of them, not all of them. But you have to discern. You have to make that decision on that. But we live in a very, Santos, why does the media divide us all? I watch CNN and everything the president does, they hate and destroy, but Fox News praises everything he does. The same topics, different reporting and influencing. Let me share something with you that I believe. This is my observation. I'm sure there's a few other people that probably have something of a similar thought or similar observation. I believe that we are in the middle of a spiritual battle on this planet. There are good forces and then there are bad forces. And we're caught in the middle of it. I don't completely understand all of this, but when I read the Bible, when I read the scriptures and I read about God and I read about his plans, and then I read about the enemy, right? Satan. He's referred to as the enemy, Satan, Lucifer. And then there's these fallen angels. We can see that something's not, we can see there's confusion. We can see that there's some very serious problems. There's decisions being made, decisions that are not being made that should be made. So we see all of this. If you stand back and you look at this and then you study it, you can obviously see that people are being influenced by something or someone. And this is the way I see it. This is the way I see it. I'm not going to sit here and judge anybody for, the way they believe, but you have to really know where you stand and what it is that you believe in. I based just about everything from the Bible in my life. That's what seems to make sense to me, is the scriptures. Now, can I agree with everything in the Bible? I don't understand everything in the Bible, but the things that I do understand, they're very, very deep and they're very spiritual, and they help me understand what's going on in this world. So if I understand, then, you got a lot of people pushing and shoving. They're trying to make all these moves, but what they don't realize is that they're up against something that is a lot bigger than them. It's not just people. Because when you think about it, there's some very foolish decisions that are being made by people. And if you watch the news, you can see it. And you ask yourself, man, why would they make that decision? Or why would this person say this or the other thing? Something's driving these people. Something is motivating these people. There's darkness and there's light. And it could be frightening too. You can go real deep into these things, and some people go too deep. That's the way I think. And that's where you have to really say, wait a minute. I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm going to stand on my foundation. I'm going to continue to do research or dig further into this situation. But man, you got to know where you stand. You have to know where you stand. Hey, Ryan, welcome from Australia, man. I wonder what time it is in Australia right now. It's probably pretty late or early. I'm not too sure. But I've been to Australia, beautiful place. I've been to Perth, Perth, when I was in the Navy. Our ship, the USS Enterprise, pulled into Perth, and I was there for 2 weeks, I believe, or a week and a half, 2 weeks. And that was back probably in 1985 or 1984, one of those 2 years. And I loved Australia, man. It was just... I won't say what I really enjoyed in Australia, but it was a good time. I really did. I met somebody there very special, and it was strange because we parted ways, and I never heard from this woman ever again. Who knows where she is? Anyways, um, Perth. Hey, Evelyn, welcome to Friday Night Alive broadcast. We're here just sharing. Let me see. Today is fight between life and death, good and evil. Yeah, and another thing that we should be really focused on, I believe that we should really be focused on staying positive as much as possible because being positive has an impact on your immune system. I really do. I believe that being positive and staying away from a lot of the stuff that drags you in, your mind releases chemicals of different kinds into the body. And when you think negative thoughts, that secretes something into your body, into your system, and it could hurt your immune system. It's actually proven to hurt your immune system, negative thinking. So positive thinking, opposite, should boost your immune system. And I focus on that. And I tell people this all the time. Stay away from arguments. Stay away from all this stuff. A lot of this violence, these movies. A lot of people are sitting at home watching movies. A lot of violence, blood and gore. And the mind doesn't know the difference when you're sitting there watching. You know that your subconscious, your brain doesn't know the difference between something that's being done in a movie or something that's actually happening. Your mind does not know the difference. So that could be very dangerous because, again, the more you feed on all this negative stuff, it's going to hurt you. Okay, here we got 9:33 a.m. Friday morning. It might be Friday, it might be Saturday already. Yes, the Bible lets us know what's really going on in our world. I believe that very, very true. The Bible, people think that the Bible is easy to understand. It's really not. The Bible is not easy to understand. The Bible has to be revealed to us. I mean, you can read certain scriptures in the Bible and you can, in your mind, you can think, okay, this is what it says. You can look at it physically, but there's always a deeper spiritual meaning to that verse. That's very intriguing. It's very mysterious. And from my understanding, those verses that are very difficult to understand, it has to be revealed to us as we compare scripture with scripture. Because you can't really read the Bible like a book. You're supposed to compare one scripture with another to see how it ties in. Because there's a lot of contradiction, apparently. It's not contradiction, it's apparent contradictions in the Bible. Because you could read something over here and then find another verse that seems to oppose it. They work together. You just have to understand true revelation. And again, I'm not an expert in the Bible. I just study and I read, and I really depend on God to show me. Because I can't depend on my total mind or depend on somebody else. We're all faulty. But I believe that God is not faulty. I believe that God is pure, 100%. We just don't completely understand it. It's life. It's life, my friends. Evelyn, thank you. I don't miss losing money. Except for right now, right? COVID-19, nobody's working. We're all kind of losing money to a certain degree if we're not thinking, if we're not planning ahead. It's a difficult time, but it's also an opportunity time for us to really look at ourselves, to look at the situations that we find ourselves in. It might be a career change for you, right? It may mean a career change for you. I know a lot of technology. The company that I work for as as a final expense insurance agent, everything's going to a voice signatures, voice application. I don't even need to meet people to get them, a $20,000 life insurance or final expense insurance policy. I don't even need to meet people in person. So who knows, as we go forward, we'll continue to do things with all this, technology. I've been to Perth, too, my favorite place in Australia. I live in Tasmania. Yeah, I know. Let me see. After we start violence each other. Yeah, we violence, every negative, it's even this COVID-19, as negative as it may seem, there's also a positive to this thing. You would think, well, wait a minute, people are dying. People are dying from many other things. They're dying from heart attacks. They're dying from accidents. They're dying from medical doctor malpractice. In fact, more people are dying from those things than they are from COVID-19. This COVID-19 is very mysterious, though. It is. It's a very mysterious thing. I don't completely understand it. Again, who's in control of this? We know who's in control. But there's a purpose. And there is a positive purpose in this experience that we're all going through. There is a positive, and that's what we need to look for. We need to look for the positive. Cephas and I did a podcast the other day. If you're open to podcasting, over at Soldiers of Self-Mastery, we talked about loneliness. We talked about isolation. We gave some solutions and some ideas to our listeners that are listening to our podcast. I thought it was a very, very good podcast between Coach Cephas and I. And you're welcome to check it out. If you know somebody that's lonely, you can go to soldiersofselfmastery.com and check out our latest podcast. And I believe that was podcast number 10. So over at soldiersofselfmastery.com. Oh, and another thing that I've been doing lately is I started reading a little bit in one of my books, the Life's Most Important Questions. And I think I'm going to have to revise that book. It's kind of good. It's got some good meat inside, it's got a little bit of filet mignon in there, just a little bit, some potatoes, a healthy salad with house ranch dressing. I don't know if you like house ranch dressing. It's just a little mixture. And I think I'm going to revise it. Anyways, let me see. So we're getting a few here on this Friday night. They lie about numbers. It's terrible because the elderly in nursing homes are so voiceless. I know my dad's, I brought my dad back from Puerto Rico. I'm the only son. I have a brother, but he's not biological to my father, a biological son. So for almost a month, I haven't seen my father. My father has dementia. So he really doesn't know who I am. He knows and he really doesn't, but he's been in lockdown for about a month now. And I had a conversation with him on the phone very briefly. I'm concerned, I'm concerned, and I can't focus on that. But they lie about the numbers. It's terrible because the elderly in nursing homes are so voiceless. I know there's just, it's difficult. It's difficult for the older people. They got to, especially the ones that are ill. And not only that, I have a wife. I've been married 23, 24 years, and my wife is not doing well with her health. She's not doing well. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I decided to join Atomy and get the HemoHim product. Patented natural crude medicine. And I believe it's helping. I definitely believe it's helping. So, yeah, I mean, what do we do? What do we do with this situation? It's the only thing I can think of, asking God for wisdom, asking him for guidance, asking him for 4 things that I usually pray about all the time: guidance, wisdom, mercy, and strength. Wisdom, guidance, mercy, and strength, right? We need strength, especially in this time. We need wisdom to make really good decisions. We need mercy, right? Uh, and then we see strength, wisdom, guidance, and mercy. Anyways, we're going to be winding down here in a few minutes. And let me see what else is going on. I see people coming on, people dropping off. For every addicted gambler, we are finally free. I believe the casino will never recover from this pandemic, and we have realized from this time away, we really don't need it in our life. Congratulations. Yeah, this could be a very, very good stepping stone. I believe it is going to be a good stepping stone for many, many people. Unfortunately, there are those that are still gambling. And, you know, because of this time capsule that we're in called COVID-19, it's kind of a time capsule that we're in, because we're going to get out of this time capsule. Because of the emotional state and all of the activity and the things that we're going through emotionally, people that are gambling right now are being impacted. When this time capsule that we're in opens up, I believe a lot of those people are going to rush to the casinos, and their situation is going to be worse. They're setting themselves up for a very, very serious fall. That's the way I see it. They're setting themselves up for a very, very serious fall, and it's sad because it's going to happen. That's the truth. And then there are those numbers of people. Hopefully, we're in that number, right? I know I am, where we've made a decision and we're fighting. I call this an army of soldiers, right? That's kind of my plan. Create an army of soldiers that believe in themselves. They take the time to search themselves out. What is the gift that I have? What is the strength that I have? They take time to really look at themselves, and they think about others too, because it's not just about us, it's about other people too. So this is the time, my fellow soldiers. That I was thinking about that last night. Man, wouldn't it be cool, Santos, to have an army of soldiers of self-mastery dedicated to their own self, in other words, dedicated to themselves to fight this vice, this lie, this gambling addiction that is crippling so many. I mean, it crippled me because I didn't know any better. It literally crippled me because I didn't know any better. Let me see. Kids are not in school. It's crazy. Yeah, my granddaughter lives with us, and sometimes I don't even see her. She stays in a room all day. I kind of think her and my wife, they partner up and they sneak off, or she sneaks off to her friend's house, I think. They try to deceive me, I think, sometimes. I don't know. Revelation can be the most difficult book in the Bible. If you read the whole Bible, you can make sense of it. Little by little, the Bible says, little, what is it? Oh man, little by little, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. That's what the Bible says. And, we read one scripture and we compare it with another scripture, and we think about, how God is showing us. What is he showing us through the Bible? What is he speaking to you directly through the Bible? And it's pretty interesting how it all works. Very mysterious. But we can know some things. We can know some things about what's really going on in this world. My trust in these days is no longer in this world system. There was a time period where I really trusted in this world system, but today I realize that there's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of turmoil, there's a lot of death and decay. And we can sit here and be positive as much as we want and say everything is going to get better completely 100% and this and the other thing. That's going to happen in certain places of planet Earth. The whole planet is not. You hear people talking about you can change the world. No, you can't change the world. The only thing that you can really do is change the people that are meant to come into your circle of influence. You can help them change, possibly, because you can't really change anybody. The only thing that we're going to do is influence a certain amount of people, okay? Because we're not going to change the world. According to the Bible, the world is on a collision course. And man, Santos, it's true. It is. Look at the way the world is moving, my friends. Look at the way it's moving. All this technology that is damaging cells, right? And we're just moving ahead. Autonomy, right? Self-driving cars, self-driving trucks, self-driving buses. In fact, we even have these phones. If you think about it, these phones actually take a mind of on their own. You start playing with them, next you know, it's like the phone, has its own memory. It brings you back to websites. It sends emails to you. And it even wants you to subscribe to certain type of people on Facebook or on YouTube or on another social media site. This thing takes a mind, artificial intelligence. And the world is moving very fast, towards a place. And I know I'm not going there, because I'm not going to be here forever. There's an afterlife. There is an afterlife. There is something better beyond. And that's my hope. That's my hope for my family, for friends. But ultimately, I believe that's just God's business. I believe that's God's business. Grace, 100%. Let me see. Okay, we're going to wind down here. I said I was only going to be here for a few minutes, and I find myself just going off too much. Let me see. Our world will change in a big way from pandemic. So there is really good stuff that we can look forward to. I'm not saying there is. There isn't. But it's what you make it, right? Where you are. It's what you make it where you are, and it's the influence that you give out around you. It's dependent upon what you're doing right now. It's dependent upon what you're doing, going forward. So I am excited. I stay positive as much as possible every day. I remind myself who I am. I'm a soldier of self-mastery. Sometimes I don't feel like a soldier of self-mastery. I remind myself that I'm a philosopher of everyday victorious living. Sometimes I don't feel like a philosopher of victorious living. But you don't live by feeling either, because if you live by feelings, then you're in trouble, right? Your emotions could be up here one day. Next thing you know, they're down here one day. Up and down. We want is steady growth, going up. Steady growth. But we should be careful, obviously, when we go out. We should be paying attention. I don't believe that we should live in fear. Remember Winston Churchill? I believe it was Winston Churchill, and there was many others that said, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. Whatever you put focus on, that can be something that you may not understand or that frightens you. The moment you begin to focus on that thing, it's bringing fear into your life. And we should not live in fear. You should not live in fear unless you're trying to cross the freeway and there's many cars, right? Then at that point, you better live in fear, because if you think you're going to run across that freeway with those cars, you better listen to your emotional state. You better listen to intuition. But we should not be living in a state of fear. And I think that's one of the major things that's been happening with the news, right? It's like this very, very heavy load of fear being pushed out. And we're learning more and more about the virus. We're learning more about how we can protect ourselves. We're learning more. But we still, it is a virus. It is a very contagious virus. Obviously, it's a very deadly virus. And how it moves and how it jumps around and from people to people, That's why I say only God really knows what's going on this planet. Only God truly knows. So let us ask, let us knock and seek and see what we can get out of this thing. Yeah. Um, so I want to thank each and every one of you guys for being here on this Friday. I truly, you make my Friday for being here with me. You do. And again, I hope that you continue to go forward and refocus, readapt, right? Like the Marines or the military. Remember, I used to hear this, right? Reorganize. And of course, they said it differently. Reorganize and readapt and go forward. Reorganize, readapt, and go forward. Uh, will the casino recover? Some of them may not. I know right now, is it Las Vegas? Las Vegas is in a big controversy. People opening up these casinos, and I think as long as this is the way I see it. I think that we can begin to open up more and more. I really do believe that, but we still have to practice some of these precautionary measures to the best of our ability. And I believe that if we practice these precautionary measures to the best of our ability, and that's the problem, that we can have something in place, but not everybody's going to follow protocol. And that's where we fall into problems. I believe that things can be opened up as long as we have a certain protocol and we're following these protocols to the best. It could be a good thing. And we're going to be moving that way anyways. But unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people that are just not going to follow protocol. And we're going to end up with some more second outbreaks, like they say. I think they're already happening. But fear not. Let me see. We've got a couple. Hey, you're welcome. I look forward to seeing you guys on Sunday, 4 p.m. On Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're gonna take on. Actually, we're probably gonna take on the subject of what does it really mean that you and I are fearfully and wonderfully made. What does that really mean? Dig a little bit into that and see what we can apply, what we can eat, right, to help us get stronger. We want to get stronger. And so let me hang out for just a few minutes here. Let me see. There was something that I did wanted to share. No, was there something that I wanted to share? I think there was. Let me see here, since we have some time. You are able beyond measure. You have abilities, untapped, God equipped. Reading from my journal. I love writing. I really do. I just love writing. We'll talk more about this on Sunday because we're getting ready to end pretty soon here. Untapped, God equipped you with distinct ability. It's powerful when you think about it. You got to dig deeper, though, right? We can't be shallow. We live in a Band-Aid society. Everybody's putting a Band-Aid on something, right? As soon as the Band-Aid begins to pull up a little bit, oh my God, the Band-Aid's coming off. Let's get some glue. Let's put that Band-Aid back together. I slap that Band-Aid back on. Man, we got to peel that Band-Aid and we got to get underneath there, man, to see what's really deal with the issue, right? That's what we got to do. Too many people are just Band-Aid. And I find that in my life too. And as soon as I see a Band-Aid, rip that thing off, even if it pulls the skin and the scab too. Let it heal for real. Don't put a Band-Aid on it, right? If you need a Band-Aid, put it on. Physically speaking. Figuratively speaking, we should not be putting Band-Aids on it. It's a Band-Aid society, right? It is. And, I was looking to buy your books on Amazon, but they were out of stock. Really? No, they can't. They can't be out of stock. Amazon Kindle. We even have the e-version. Depending on which book, I know we've got 2 books. We're working on another one. This book right here, if you're interested in getting this, actually, I can send you an electronic download. If just donate a few bucks to the mission, $5, $10, and I'll send you. Normally, this book costs like $20, I think. But we do have an electronic download version right now because of what's going on. You can go to soldiersofselfmastery.com. You can purchase it there at regular price, soldiersofselfmastery.com, or you can just donate. And as soon as I get an email that you donated, whatever, at least $5 or more, because that's what the ebook goes for, we'll send you an electronic copy. You can use it. Don't read it. No. Don't. That felt good. Don't read it, man. Use the book. Okay? You can read it. Just open up to a page, and whenever you have it, you're struggling, you've got some issues, you've got something going on. Maybe your wife slapped you too hard that day. Pick up the book and use it, man. Listen to this. Emotion is a very powerful tool that can help in putting away one habit and building another. Emotion is a very powerful tool that can help in putting away one habit and building another. What the heck does that mean, Santos? I'll let you figure that one out. I want to give some people some thought. You read something that's difficult. I don't understand. Give it some thought, meditate on it, read it again. Okay, the light bulb comes on. So thank you, Gulam. Thank you, Gulam. And again, let me post this here real quick. Actually, let me see. If you go to the... Okay, if you go to soldiersofselfmastery.com, donate, you can go ahead and go there. If you want to donate, just go to soldiersofselfmastery.com. You can check out our services. You can learn a little bit about Cephas, my partner, Coach Cephas, and our podcasts are there. And again, we're here. We're just trying to give people something to feed on. And not everybody's going to agree with everything that I share. Not everyone is going to agree with my partner, Coach Cephas. We're not trying to reach the entire world because we're not going to change the world. The world is on a course of its own. We are here to influence those that we're meant to influence. Right? I call it circle of influence. There's so many people that are going to come in and out of our lives as a radius. Hopefully we can touch one person with something good, and that person can move on and touch somebody else. But we're not going to change the world. Unfortunately, we hear a lot of great people saying you can change the world. You can influence people. But the world is on a course that we are not going to change. We're just not going to change that course. That course is being directed by the master, if you understand who I'm talking about here. Okay, a few more. Yeah, soldiersofselfmastery.com. Right below there, you can see, very simple. Donate. I get an email, and I promise to send you an electronic version. If you want the hard copy, I could still get it out to you. That would be at least a donation of $20. Man, Santos, $20? That's a lot of money, man. $20. You know how hard I have to work for $20, Santos, or $25? Come on, guys. I know we can do it. Believe me, we spend more money eating out than we even realize. For the price of a McDonald's, the little McDonald's family dinner, you can actually have your book. Anyways, thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you for being with us. I still see people coming on. I'm going to hang out here. If you have a question, if you have something that you want to discuss here, bring it up. Let me see. I feel like there's something that I need to say here that I'm missing. It'll come to me. It will come to me before the program. So I love coming here, and all what Santos says is so true. Thank you, Suzanne. I really appreciate that. I really do. Like I said, I want to help people. So much has been given to me. What I share with you guys is what's been given to me. I never had this. I never had this attitude. I didn't have this energy that I have today, this confidence that I have, because I'm an extrovert and I'm also an introvert. I'm I'm a loner. I'm a loner. I really am. Deep down inside, I have forced myself to come out of that, to become an extrovert. But at heart, I am an introvert, like most of you. Uh, but again, if you don't challenge yourself, you're not going to know what it is that you're good at. Like, for instance, I remember when I first started challenging myself to defeat gambling, I could hear the little voice, right? The dark voice in my head. It would whisper sweet nothings all the time. And of course, when you've been gambling for a long time, that voice is very strong when you try to go against it. But it was the challenge that I really wanted. I wasn't thinking so much about, I don't know. I wasn't thinking, I was more focused on the fact that, you know what, this is a game, this is a challenge, and I believe I can beat this thing. I believe. But what did I do? I would feed on journal, right? I would feed on videos. I would feed my self-talk. I would talk to myself, literally. Every day I talk to myself. Every single day. I remind myself, and you should be doing the same thing too, my fellow soldiers. You should be talking to yourself very positively every single morning, especially in the morning when you get up. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, you know what, man? You're doing something great. You're going to take the steps. You are a soldier. Encourage yourself. Motivate you. Nobody else is going to do it early in the morning. Right? My wife, I'd love for my wife to come up every single morning and say, hey, man of the house, soldier of self. I can't depend on that. You got to depend on yourself. You got to depend on yourself. So thank you, Suzanne. I really appreciate you today for doing that. And thank you. Thank you for supporting the mission. I really appreciate that. Again, you can go to soldiersofselfmastery.com and you can email us, and if you have any questions about that. What I do is I have a few copies, and I sign the book. Oh, by the way, let me see if you can get a glimpse of can you get a glimpse of what it says? I don't even know myself of we're doing some sample shirts. We're doing some sample shirts and stuff like that. This is one of my older ones, the red book, one of my first books that came out. So we are going to be Soldiers of Self-Mastery t-shirts. We're going to be getting them on our website pretty soon. We're working on that. So I want to build an army. I want to have an army of people around the world where people actually really feel like a soldier, a civilian soldier, man. When you start thinking that way, when you feel like a soldier, you have a fighting spirit. You have a can-do attitude. You have an adaptability. Improvise, adapt. That's what I've been thinking about lately. An army of soldiers. And don't be afraid, just because you might be wherever you are, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are. Start where you are and work with what you have. And I'll tell you, my friend, this thing here is probably, I believe, is probably one of the greatest gifts that you have is your personal speech, your words. You tie that into the subconscious thought word thing, and sometimes you can feel invincible. Have you ever experienced that where you actually feel like you're invincible? That's from building confidence. That's from tackling on the things that you can. All right, my fellow soldiers. I'm going to see who starts dropping off here one by one. I'm excited. It's Friday, and we've got the rest of the afternoon to study, to read, and to prepare ourselves going forward. All right? All right. Chronicle Chill News. Hip hop instrumental is almost over. That means I've been here close to an hour. My, time flies. But if you say that you're going to purchase a book, get it. Get it. And here, let me share something with you. Don't sabotage yourself. Your brain is picking up on everything that you're saying. I would rather you not say that you're going to do something versus you doing it. And I'm sharing this with you. I tell this to my family all the time, because the more that you say that you're going to do something and you don't do it, your mind picks up on that. Your subconscious picks up on that. And it can build on that. And that could be something that works against you. Remember this, okay? And again, it's not about the money and it's not about the book. It's a principle that can operate. You say you're going to do something, do it. Do it. Work on it. Your name, your reputation is on the line as much as possible. I know I make mistakes and I do things, but I do my best to go forward because I got a lot going on. So I can make some excuses. No, I'm just kidding. But if you know that you should do something and you don't do it, it hurts you. It will hurt you because your brain can play tricks on you for doing that. Your brain. You will grow a huge army of soldiers, and I will be proud to say I was here from the beginning. Thank you. By the way, yes, I agree. It is. There's a few people out there. There's a number of people in different parts of the world, London, Australia, the UK, where I get messages from my fans. That humbles me. It says, man, I'm your greatest fan. Santos, you're my hero. It humbles me because I know that I'm touching lives around the world. And you're all a part of this too if you're part of this mission. We're doing this together. We're doing this together. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Suzanne. And do I smoke? No. I used to smoke and I used to drink. I used to be an alcoholic. Yes. I've never really talked about it, but I was an alcoholic. The reason why I was an alcoholic was because when I was a child, alcohol was one of the escapes that I got involved with very early on, along with gambling. So I used to steal. Well, I shouldn't say I used to steal. My father used to take Valium and lithium because my father was very violent and he had some issues. My brother used to take I used to see my older brother do things and I would do the same thing. So I got into smoking and drinking very, very, very early on. I ended my drinking probably in the middle of the 90s or early 90s. That's when I stopped drinking. Drinking landed me in the psychiatric ward. Drinking landed me in the brig when I was in the military. Drinking almost cost me my life numerous times overseas. So I had a very severe gambling alcohol problem. And gambling was mixed in there too, but unfortunately, there weren't a lot of casinos that I could access to back before the 90s. So we did a lot of gambling on the ship and stuff like that. And I used to smoke cigarettes and all of those things, but I put an end to it. The struggle that I had was gambling. It wasn't up until a few years ago that I actually was able to conquer that. I didn't have the tools. I didn't have the books. I didn't really understand self-mastery, self-talk, mirror talk, journaling, none of that. I didn't understand. It wasn't until I started using those kinds of tools that I actually got the victory. And I believe self-talk, there's one video that I have, I think it has over 100,000 views. I believe that one does, where I share about talk, how I eliminated the word gambling, how I took the word casino out of my vocabulary. I wouldn't use any of that. I stayed away from it as much as possible. And eventually I was able to overcome problem gambling. I got myself completely free. I destroyed the desire. That's what I did, really. It's not about destroying the gambling habit or the physical. It's about actually getting to the root. And the root is desire. And until you get to the root, you'll continue to gamble. You will gamble until you get to the root and you begin pulling that root, that wild death root that's in your subconscious. And that's how it happened. Anyways, there's my a little bit of my story in a nutshell. Great, Gulam. Thank you, Gulam. And I would say another name for God is Allah, and I give praise and glory to Allah. I give praise and glory to Jehovah, to the God of this universe. And it goes by many names. But again, I'm not here to judge people for what they believe, and because I judge myself, and I know that God is ultimately He is the judge. You got a lot of people judging. I don't fear people. I fear God. He's my judge. He's the one that I have to be concerned about. So, yeah, thanks for the questions. Thank you. I do have a beer once in a while. I do maybe once or twice a year, cold beer, but I get a headache now. That's about it. I don't really do too much with alcohol because I know it nearly killed me. Yeah, nearly killed me. What is that here? I will donate to the battle as well. Thank you. Thank you. I would appreciate the book as a good gesture on your part. Sure. As soon as I get donations, and I do get a few donations, I don't get a whole lot, but I do get a few donations from certain individuals. I have to send a shout out to Nahil because she's one of my strongest supporters. So I really appreciate her. And yes, I will do my promise to get a book out to you. If you want the hard copy, I will send you. Let me hold on a minute. Oh, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I do have copies of my older version, and again, these are the other books that I have. But these books, when I had them printed, they have mistakes in them, and I was actually sending out, but they still have the good message in them. So I got a lot of these, and I've got a few of the Little Red Book. So just if you donate, let me know, and I'll do my best. Obviously, I will send you either the electronic version or the Little Red Book. So yes, thank you, appreciate that. Steve, let me see, what does Steve have? What we do and accomplish is only the tip of the iceberg of what we are capable of. Famous quotation. Exactly, Steve. Oh, there is something that I want to share with you guys. I had an interview with somebody that I impacted their life over a year, and I won't mention his name, but I had an interview, and this person let me know that his father passed away recently from COVID-19. Now, I knew he had COVID-19 because he told me a couple days back, but he recently passed away. So those of you that pray, I just want you to hold a friend of mine in prayer, okay? I'm not going to say his name because some of you might know who he is. And it was kind of shocking when he called me. We were supposed to do a podcast, Cephas, him and myself, and we couldn't do it because he called me and he sent me a message. My dad passed away, fairly young man, from COVID-19. So my condolences and my prayers go out to London. And hopefully you guys will keep that thought in prayer. And my heart goes out to those of you also that have family members. Maybe you've lost a family member, or you know somebody that's ill. You know, we really need to be praying. Uh, we really need to be praying for that. Um, do I have the Cash App? I don't know what the Cash App is. I do have Google Play. I have Google Play. Is it Google? Actually, let me see what I don't know if I have the Cash App. I might have the Cash App. No, I don't. I don't have it. I've got the Google. Oh, what is that? Is it Google Pay? Google Pay. GPay. I've got GPay and PayPal. And you know, PayPal would be, if you go to PayPal, you can actually just, let me put in my, if you Rolon 44 at gmail.com. The only thing about PayPal is that they take your money. They take most of your money. But then again, every service that we have takes a little bit. I have a program. It's called Stripe. It's on my website, my personal website. Of course, they take a chunk every time that I get a donation. So, but I will look into that Cash App. I'm not too sure what that is. I will actually look at that and see if maybe that might be something that I could use also. I could send the copy to Australia. Yes, I can. The only thing is that it may cost me a little bit more to send it. It's usually about $4 to $5 to send it throughout the States, the book, somewhere around there. But I sent the book to Australia about a year ago, and it cost me like $8 or something, $9. I remember this young man by the name of John, who's probably in prison right now for gambling and handling funds or whatever it was that he did. So I was able to send him a book, and I don't know if he received it, but he ended up in prison. So yes, I could work on that. I don't have a problem as long as you cover the shipping charges. Sure, we can do that. So I will look at this Cash App. I will definitely take a look at that and see. Gambling is worse addiction. Gambling is a worse addiction to make your life poor in all ways. Financially, relationships, personal status, everything. Must stay away from gambling and invest your money and time and good. And you know, as we go forward with this 5G, this is for PayPal. If you decide, if there's somebody here that wants to donate to PayPal through, you can do that there. Or you can, again, like I said, you can go to soldiersofselfmastery.com. I can handle all kinds of payments from that platform. As we go forward and this 5G, the 5th generation gets implemented, things are going to move a lot faster. We know that. These machines and these casinos are going to move a lot faster. What really hurts people in the mind, in the subconscious, is the quickness, the revolutions, the advancements that these machines, these slut machines, are capable of. And there are engineers, very, very smart. They're getting paid a lot of money to engineer the chip, the software, the computer that goes into these machines. So the faster that these machines operate, the more it gets into your mind a lot quicker. The more revelations, the more turning of that machine, that's what gets into the subconscious. And when you expose yourself to this quickness, that's what happens. And some of us don't have a real problem. There are people that are very strong, and I know a lot of you. We're all strong. We are all strong, but unfortunately, society, negative news, negative people, a negative upbringing short circuits our power. And this is what I wanted to say earlier, but I just couldn't put it together. So when you're living on this planet, you're defeated, you're thinking defeated, You can't really speak properly to yourself. You don't know how to really hold good conversations with other people. And you just get into one thing and another and another. And all you're doing is you're just being drained of your power. You're being drained of your power. So these machines are going to move a lot quicker. These machines are actually going to move a lot quicker. And what does that mean? That is more danger for the people that expose themselves to this thing. You know, it's not just about the carpet color or the smell. It's not about the fact that these casinos have no clocks on the walls. In fact, there's no windows either, or they're fake windows. It's not the fact that they offer you alcohol and they give you a free toaster, you know, where you can toast bagels, right? Special toaster here at the casino for you. You can put bagels in there. It's none of that. It's the revolutions of the machine. It's the revolutions of the machine. You ever notice, if you've been in the casino, right? You ever notice how fast you want the machine to go? You hit the button, you just can't wait. You got to hit it again. And that's what gets us hooked. That's what drives that very sharp stainless steel, I don't know, maybe it's alloy metal hook. That's what drives that metal hook into your subconscious, and then it lodges in there. Next thing you know, you're a puppet. You know, the puppet master, the machines, you know, they're running your life, man, and it's crazy. It's just crazy when you get into the casino. I remember I would tell my wife before we got into the casino, we had some kind of a freaking plan. And as soon as you got into the casino, that plan went out the door. I didn't have the discipline to maintain that plan. Some people do. Some people have a discipline where they can actually go into a casino and gamble and come out. A very small number of people have that ability. There are numbers of people. In fact, there are many, many people that won't get addicted to gambling. Then there's that small minority that it doesn't take much. A couple of revolutions of that machine and they're hooked. And, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy. It is. It's crazy. Wow, I thought I was going to be here for 30 minutes, but it looks like I'm going to be here for a little bit longer because you guys are still here. And again, I want to say I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the questions that you're bringing. And hopefully we can dig deeper, man, in this time period that we have. I know Friday, thank you, Nahil. Shout out to Nahil, one of my greatest supporters. I'm hoping I can do something more for you and in the near future. So, oh man, what was I going to say? I lost it. Anyways, it is what it is. I'm still here for a little bit. We're going to go through this. But I tell you what, man, it feels great to wake up every single morning and know that you're completely free. If you understand that, it feels like you got a new lease on life again. And I'm not going to mess it. You know what? I am married to the decision that I am not going to mess it up again, ever. I've gone through enough pain. I've lost enough. I've given up enough of my money, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, when I add up all the money, I know way over $500,000, way over. In fact, I would probably say maybe it could be even into closer to $1 million over that span of years. Even though I was making decent money, but you know, I wasn't a millionaire. Obviously, if you're a millionaire and you gamble for a span of over 30 years, actually, I started gambling when I was about 13 or 14, and there was periods where I didn't gamble. And then probably sometime in the 90s, I think, and then all the way up until about just a few years ago, I gambled hard. I lost an inheritance, went through $250,000 in about 2 years. And, you know, it's hard, man. It's hard. I don't really like to think about it too much, but it's the truth, man. I'm ashamed of what I've done, and I can't go back and change any of that. But you know what? I can warn people. I can be strong today, and I can go forward every day. I don't care about yesterday too much because today's a new day. And what is really important for you and I is not what we lost last week or last month or last year. It's what we can do right now, today, right, going forward. That's what's important. You know, I can stay free today. I can live free today, and then I can do it again tomorrow when it comes. And you do it in 7 days, you know, or 3 days. Man, I'm gonna challenge myself. I'm gonna do the book. I'm gonna journal. I'm gonna get in front of the mirror. I'm gonna go to a webinar, whatever. I'm gonna come to the Sunday Night Alive Power Program. I'm gonna do 3 days. Okay, then I'm gonna do another 3 days. And I tell you, you talk about dopamine being released. It's fantastic. Fantastic. Evelyn, let me see. We've got a few people. Evelyn, welcome. Suzanne says 136 days gamble free. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's a lot of trophies right there for you. I salute you. You know, that's good. Keep it going. I want to see you on the next one where you say 156 days or whatever. But just remember, my friends, it's not so much of how much time. It's what we're doing now going forward. Because yesterday's gone. Right? All of that time that you haven't gambled, that's good time, and that ought to strengthen you. But you don't want to focus too much on time. You want to focus on every day, the here and now. The here and now. What can I do today? Right? Yeah, I've got 100 days or 2 months. But what can I do today to keep going forward? Where do I plug in? What do I do? Let me see here. We got a question from Evelyn. By the way, thank you for being. Why does the mind insist on betting more to chase the losses? Why does the mind insist on betting more to chase the losses? Well, you know, the mind runs us, the subconscious runs. That's 95% of your brain. Think about it. Right now we're all using about 5% of our mind because we're thinking logically, right? The conscious thinking. But what is really happening under that is 95%. So you're up against 95% in whatever area that you feel that you're struggling with, whether it's addiction to gambling, alcohol, smoking, overeating. You know, maybe you have road rage. Some people have excessive addiction to road rage. It's the subconscious that we have to get into. That's why sometimes we hear the same things over and over and over, and we don't realize, wait a minute, I'm hearing the same thing over and over. There's a reason for that. Your good life is going to come out of a good series of good, constant, positive reminders. Your bad life is going to come out of a good series of bad, negative reminders, right? It's the opposite. So that's why we have to really be continually reinforcing something that may seem so redundant. I remember listening to the same, in fact, I still do, Earl Nightingale, Napoleon Hill. I don't listen to their videos as much as I used to because I don't have to. But every once in a while I go back and I say, man, I used to listen to this video. This is a 3-hour video. I used to listen to this thing over and over. I just put on the headphones and just do whatever it was that I was doing. I put on the headphones or while I was sleeping. Let that stuff get into my subconscious. Let it work. That's all I knew. I kept hearing, let it get into your subconscious. And eventually it just, you know, here I am. So I'm very grateful. Yeah. Let me see. Where are you from? Australia. Where are you from? Rolon. He's asking the question there. Well, I know Suzanne's from Tasmania. That's an interesting. Sydney. Oh, wow. Wow, I'm reaching a lot of people in Australia. That's interesting. And in the UK. I know, maybe I think it's easier to gamble. I know I had a young person from Italy. No, he was 17, 18. I think you still have to be older to gamble. Anyways, thank you guys. All right, let me put on a tune before I close. Oh, okay. Let me get back to this one here. Why does the mind insist on betting more to chase the losses? Hopefully I've answered. And you know, there's a lot more to this. I'm just kind of scratching. It's a little bit challenging when I give you an answer because I really don't know you. I don't know your background. This is kind of a little bit of coaching, but it's really not personalized. So there's a lot why the mind. All of us are different. We come from different backgrounds. We have different tastes, but ultimately it's what's going on up here, right? You have to conquer your mind. You have to conquer this. If you hear anything today, you have to conquer your mind, because if you don't, your mind is going to basically conquer you. That's the way it usually works. All right. Let me see what else. Let me see. Okay, let me see where we're at here. We're going to be ending. Here, we'll end with this one, unless we get some more. There we go. Anyways, I'm just going to continue to have fun, challenge myself. All right, my fellow soldiers, I think we're going to be coming down here, winding down. That's right. Wow. My condolences to your family, Laura. It's not good, huh? Yeah. Betting on the animals. All right, my fellow soldiers, I will see you Sunday. Bring a pad, bring a pen. I'm going to be checking on Sunday for you. Keep notes, ideas, solutions. Who knows what may pop into your head during our next session that's going to help you with your job, with your family, with you, with your situation. It's all about thoughts and solutions. Well, it's not always about thoughts and solutions, but that's important. Wow, what a broadcast. All right, my friends, good night.